What is going on? First of all, to all my friends and family watching that will be watching, I do apologize for the later than usual start. Life gets in the way. This is not my professional gig yet, but hopefully one day. But I just wanted to say, I am sorry. Usually we start around 8:30, 8:45. I'm starting a little late. Life gets in the way, and you just have to schedule things to go with that. Steve was going to try to join us, but unfortunately he's on vacation and having some technical difficulties. He will be here for Thursday's podcast, which will go on as normal, but he could not join us tonight. Dev taking the night off. If he decides to jump in, he's of course knows he's more than welcome to. Don't know if he is or not, but you're going to be solo rolling with Dolo with me. Solo rolling for Dolo with me, at least for now. Won't be a terribly long stream tonight, but I do have some just random things that have gone on lately. Now, first and foremost, before I get into the lighter work, let's say this. All right, we had some events happen this weekend in Pennsylvania. We had a former president / current presidential candidate that was almost assassinated. If you're out there peddling the conspiracy theories and so forth, stop. All right. Let's let investigations play out. If you're out here saying things like, oh, sucks you had poor aim, you're part of the problem. The memes have been fire, though. So let's give it that. The memes have been fire. 50 Cent tweeting out, Alexa, play Many Men by 50 Cent was hilarious, okay? The only reason it's hilarious is because it was not killed. But nonetheless, if you're out here wishing death upon people that simply because you disagree with their politics, you're part of the problem. And that doesn't matter if you're right or left, up or down. If you're a statist or a libertarian, doesn't matter. If you're wishing violence upon people simply because of a political, ideological disagreement, you're part of the problem. Okay? That's all I'm going to say about that. I've seen some extremely funny stuff on Twitch, on not Twitch, but Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, on Facebook. And I've also seen some stuff that just makes me shake my head in shame. So just felt like this is a better forum for me to get those thoughts off my head instead of doing it, on an official podcast. Anyway, so Marcus Edelin has joined us in chat. What's up, family? What's up to you, Marcus? Hope you're having a good evening. Deluxe has also joined us. What up, good people? Deluxe, you good people. That's why you're here. Anyway, a couple of things I want to hit on tonight. Like I said, not going to be a terribly long stream because we are starting late. First and foremost, the headliner, Joe Theismann. What's he saying? Why is he talking? Every time Joe Theismann talks, something strange happens. For instance, Joe Theismann accidentally leaked the name Commanders about a day or two before it was officially announced. Here's the thing. I love Joe as an announcer. I think Joe. I used to watch ESPN and so forth when he did Sunday Night Football, and I always thought that Joe Theismann was much better than people gave him credit for. I think Joe Theismann is much better than people give him credit for as far as being an NFL quarterback. But here, as he's gotten into his older age, what is it with people named Joe that get older and then just the most random stuff comes out of their mouth? Joe Theismann came out and said, and I'm going to pull up the article that says this, and then I'm going to touch on something else Commanders related, and then we'll move on. But he said that Jaden Daniels shouldn't play during the preseason? Why are you going to say I have a rookie quarterback? Hey, Tia, what's up? Why are you going to say you have a rookie quarterback? Rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterback. And say we shouldn't play him in the preseason. So let's talk about this. All right. I'm going to share this little article with you. From USA Today, Commander's Wire. Make it as big as I can for you. Says here, how many snaps should Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels get in his first preseason? Joe Theismann knows quite a bit about playing preseason games. In fact, when Theismann entered the NFL with Washington in 1974, NFL teams played 6 of them. Very true. On Thursday on the Craig Hoffman show, Theismann said the team has so many new faces and Jaden Daniels isn't and shouldn't play in the preseason. The former Redskins quarterback continued that he understands Daniels was the Heisman Trophy winner and had a great final season at LSU. However, the NFL is more advanced than even the SEC. Let's pause for a second. That entire statement is absolutely correct. The NFL is tougher and more advanced than even the SEC. So wouldn't you want him to get as much game reps, game speed reps, playing against other teams, other defenses that are actually coming after you? Wouldn't you want to get those reps in? Wouldn't you want a guy who's coming into a tough situation to get those reps early? So we can kind of learn in game speed what some of the issues that may need to be worked on can be worked on. Deluxe says, I heard an interesting thought on this. Don't remember who said it, but the logic is sound. Deluxe, leave that thought in the comments. I'll come back to it. Now, he says, I've watched him work. I've been at practice. I've sat and visited with him. I like him a lot. But our business is a tough business to learn. Theismann knows Daniels will have struggles when the regular season begins. He recalls his own struggles with inconsistency, which resulted in him losing a job to Billy Kilmer for 2 seasons before being named a starter in the 1978 season. Incorrect. His struggles with inconsistency are why he never got beyond the number 2 role until 1978. Billy Kilmer was the starter already set in before he took the job from Billy. All right. Joe was not competing for a starting job on a George Allen team. Okay. It's not how it was going to work. George already had Billy Kilmer. He liked Billy Kilmer. So this is already revisionist history here. And Joe's struggles, here's the thing, Joe Theismann's struggles early on were partially because of the fact that he was not getting time with the ones back then. His struggles came because he was not getting the practice time because he wasn't a number 1. That's why he was doing things like volunteering to return punts just to get playing time. So this is either revisionist history by either the writer, which I think is Ivan Lambert, or it's a failure to remember history or go back and check history, or Joe Theismann's revising history. But nonetheless, they say when Theismann said Daniels isn't playing in the preseason, was he revealing that he knows something that Coach Dan Quinn or GM Adam Peters may have told him? I doubt that. I don't think that these guys talk like that. They said this is probably nothing more than Theismann's way of saying Daniels would see very little action. In fact, Theismann later stated he thinks Daniels might play only a couple of series in the first 2 preseason games. Well, you're right about that. Because with this new 3-game deal, they're not going to play the starters very long. No more than a half at most. But you're probably going to see them first quarter, couple series here, a couple series first game, couple series second game, couple series, maybe the third game, get a series or two in. I think you're done. But to say he shouldn't play at all, I think is ridiculous. And maybe Joe's just tripping over his own words. But anyway. But he says JD5 could get more real work in non-filmed joint practices from vanilla schemes, than from vanilla schemes for a couple of drives in the preseason. Yes, but in those non-filmed joint practices, he's got a yellow jersey on. There is something to be said for facing live fire. Sorry. It's never totally the same until you're against someone else, and there's a difference when you're in there in joint practices. You still got the safety on. They can't pull the trigger on you. That's what the preseason games are for. So you face live fire. So yes, he'll get more real work than joint practices, but he knows he can't be hit, and every quarterback knows that. That's why every quarterback looks better in those types of situations than they may look in the preseason in facing live fire. It's the first time you're facing people actually coming at you and they can hit you. That's just my saying. I understand he will get more work in those practices, but he still should play. And someone says, well, he might get hurt. You might get hurt anytime. Those are the risks you take. Just my thoughts on that. Anyway, Deluxe says he sees the logic there, but there's also value in going through a real game. It's preseason. Yes, because you got to prepare for it like a real game. You're getting to the thing of you prepare for it like it's a real game, because it is a real game. Even if it's a basic installation of just a handful of plays. Remember, Joe Gibbs would go into a preseason game with 10 plays for the offense. They were very vanilla. And it was also a way of keeping the team humble. But that's just my thing. And Mark says, some people think because Washington is having 3 joint practices with 3 different teams, that's why I think Jane Daniels doesn't need to play preseason. I think Jane Daniels needs to play as much as, necessary. As much as necessary. Not as little as necessary, as much as necessary. The difference. I'm not taking chances with having a rookie quarterback not get fully developed. So Tia says that she feels he should play the last one against Drake May. I don't know. Because if Drake May looks better than he does in that game, oh my God, this fan base is going to get so heated. And I'll be on here with the drama stream, the Drake May drama stream. Because a lot of people are going to say, see, we picked the wrong quarterback. I don't necessarily agree with that. I always said that I had Drake May and Jay Daniels around the same barometer. I said Jaden was the safer pick, but it is what it is. He says there's no chance of that. Maybe. I'm just saying, if it happens, just in that 2 drives of the preseason each that they have, it will come up. It will come up because it was such a hot topic of debate in the offseason. Marcus Elam says, I would let him play 1 series in the first preseason game and a quarter and a half of the second preseason game. I'm with you. I could go with that 2 series in the first preseason game. Unless they score quickly. Well, again, if they score quickly on both drives, they'll take him out. But no, I would still. He's got to play something in the preseason. First of all, him playing in the preseason games, especially the one at home. You face preseason games and you play these preseason games at home. If fans know he's not going to be there, you're going to have less attendance. And yes, those preseason games don't exactly have sellout crowds. But guess what? That's extra money in your pocket. as an organization. It doesn't make business sense. It doesn't make quarterback developmental sense. He needs to play. I think so. Deluxe says, I see value in both joint practices and preseason. I think it benefits him more to do both. There is some logic to it on avoiding injury. Could keep some mystery about JD5 too. The mystery is you don't put the full offensive installation for these games. You keep it on limited playbook. Just my thing here. Marcus Elam, Tia could dig it. Marcus also says there's a video of rookie Mike Samerstill training with Darrell Green. Darrell Green looks like he's still got the speed at age 64. Darrell Green runs like a 4.5, 4.6 40 still. That's insane. Darrell Green at 64 can run a sub 5 second 40. And he's always been quick too. He was never just speed. He was very quick. So yeah, Darrell Green found a way to keep himself in greater shape than any of us ever will be at the age of 64. Find out how that man works out. I know that he's a natural athlete, yes, but whatever Darrell Green eats and does to keep in shape, he needs to put that out there. Jesus, just know, folks, this season is going to shock the nation. Folks already scared. Yes, but are they scared that they want so much they want to put Jane Daniels in bubble wrap? I don't know. So, piggybacking off of this, right? So apparently, supposedly, an anonymous source told Burgundy Blog that Mitchell Rails is not a big fan of the name Commanders. All right. It's an anonymous source and it's Burgundy Blog. So you have to take all that with a grain of salt. Is what it is. So Ivan Lambert believes that Julie Donaldson should have been the one in front of the television cameras, not Jason Wright. But Jason Wright holds a higher level within the team than Julie Donaldson. That's why they did that, right? So Rails apparently doesn't like the name, but no one has a source. And for some reason, he puts these two Twitters on here. The Lombardi Redskins helmet. This is the one Lombardi never got, but he wanted. And if he had been coach, he had not died of cancer, this would have been the helmet he would have coached under. He wants something reminiscent of the Packers helmet back then. Didn't. This irritated me. All right. This irritated me. The looks, by the way, says Dale Green's ageless. Love seeing him work with Mikey, the CEO. That dude's going to become the CEO of the secondary real quick. Anyway. Hillary. If y'all are on X, you know, old Hillary is very popular. Because I'm not one of those stuck on a new name, at all. But the Washington Redskins had the best help. Hold on. Wait a minute. I'm doing that wrong. Doing it wrong. Let me try this again. Let me see if I can do a better impression of old Hillary here. If you're in Twitter Spaces, you already know what I'm about to do. I'm not one of those stuck on a new name, at all. The Washington Redskins had the best helmets in the league. Also, I don't care what you think. Debate your mother. HTTR. Sorry. Had to get that off my chest. That woman gets simped for so much by our fan base for having just some, the most average to awful takes. Anyway. I am going to get roasted on X when that gets back to her. I'm not going to see it because I actually have her what is it? Not blocked, but basically so I can't see her tweets because I'm just don't need to. Don't need to. There's nothing that woman posts, no pictures of herself, nothing she says, nothing that does anything for me. But for some reason, this fan base will simp hard for her. I get it. There's not a lot of women active in the fan base and in spaces, and we want to encourage more female participation. Can we do better than that? You got Mad Hatter, LJ. She gets on TV. That woman has season tickets and flies in from Wisconsin to go to home games. Anyway, that should be your leader of the female section of the fan base. All right. No, but yeah. I'm sorry. I'm letting personal grievances get out there. I know I'm if I put up my ex, it's already gonna have. If somebody sees this that likes her, they're going to go right ahead and tag her in it. Sorry, she sounds like Fran Drescher. If Fran Drescher smoked, a pack of menthols every day. Okay. First of all, secondly, it's not done do anything for me. And I know I'm a big fat ugly guy. Who am I to talk about woman? Period. Right. But I have an opinion. And I'm free to voice it. And everybody's going to voice it and tell me how I'm just an awful misogynist because I talked bad about one woman. Anyway, Tia says, I want to start my own podcast one day. Tia, if you start your podcast, I would be more than happy to give you whatever promotion that I can give you. I would get Steve and Deb to do it too. We love to help you out any way we could. And it's not very hard to start a podcast. That's why there's 10 million of them. That's why it's also hard to break through all the noise. Maybe that's why I tend to be the one who says the more controversial things. It's because I'm trying to break through the noise and say things that I know people are thinking, but they may not be ready to say. It just is what it is. Thank you, Phil. Well, you're very welcome, Tia. You're a very, very good fan of ours. I like your takes, even if I don't agree with them. I like that you have takes. You stand by them. You're rational. You're reasonable. Do it. I think Burgundy Zone's already done. We have room, so we're gonna have room in the space. Hey, Marcus, look at this right here. This is what you call building community. Tia says Marcus says that he hopes you do that. He bets you would be good, and he will promote you in his Facebook group, Sports View 2. Sports View 2. If you see how many posts go up on that, if you're not subscribed to that on Facebook, you should. Marcus is one of the hardest working men in on Facebook and social media. That dude's constantly posting, sharing stuff. He's got radio stations that when they do the simulcast online, he's posting that. I mean, we're not just talking about podcasts. We're talking about like legacy media people all across the country, and they network with Marcus. So I would definitely say that. Deluxe says real takes are needed over endless clickbait. Well, I gave you a real take on somebody, and it's going to be controversial if this hits the atmosphere. Probably won't though. No one listens to me. They look at me and they're like, "Oh God, it's Phil. Phil's bloviating again, to use a big word. Phil's running his mouth." Anyway, all right. So Marcus loves promoting family. Marcus does a great job of promoting. I'm forever giving Marcus props for his work. All right. So next story. This is not Commanders related, but it is football related. Terrell Davis. Oh my goodness. Terrell Davis apparently was detained on a flight to California. And I think that this is insane. This is another one where I'm just like, what's going on here? If the way he's telling this story is true, this is one of this is weird. So Pro Football Hall of Famer Terrell Davis, as you all know from the Denver Broncos in the late 90s, ran for over 2,000 yards, Super Bowl MVP, says he is still in shock over the traumatizing events on board a flight to California where he said he was placed in handcuffs. The two-time Super Bowl champion said in an Instagram post that during a United Airlines flight with his wife and 3 children from Denver to Orange County on Saturday, his son asked for a cup of ice during beverage service. The flight attendant did not respond to his request, so Davis said he calmly reached behind me and tapped his arm. The flight attendant allegedly decided, "Don't hit me," and left the beverage cart to go to the front of the plane. Davis said he and other passengers were confused, so he should have witnesses to this. "I thought nothing of it other than this particular employee was being incredibly rude and blatantly wrong in his accusations of me hitting him," he said. "I did not see or interact with him further for the duration of the flight." The former NFL MVP said when the flight landed, the pilot asked all passengers to remain seated. Then 6 FBI and law enforcement agents boarded the plane and placed him in handcuffs. "I was then removed from the flight while being recorded by multiple passengers as I was paraded off the plane in handcuffs by officers," David said. "I was and remain humiliated, embarrassed, powerless, and angry." And then it shows his statements on Instagram. Davis said he was taken by authorities questioning and alleged afterwards it was rightfully determined by the agents this flight attendant was inaccurate in his accusations, and agents profusely apologized, even offering to support me and my family any way possible. As spokespersons for the FBI in John Wayne Airport in Santa Ana, where the flight landed, confirmed the incident to USA Today Sports. FBI agents and law enforcement partners at Orange County's John Wayne Airport responded to an incident report regarding an incident that had occurred aboard a flight which required further investigation. One individual was detained for questioning, was cooperative with law enforcement, and was released to continue his travels, both spokespersons said in a statement. Davis added he hasn't heard anything from United Airlines, but refuses to be silent about this disgusting display of injustice and deplorable treatment by United Airlines. "The traumatizing experience of my 2 sons, my daughter, and my wife watching me being placed in handcuffs without due process or any explanation cannot be undone. United Airlines has publicly apologized for the incident. He's got lawyers involved, and yeah, then they talk about his career. So this is crazy. I will say this. I don't think anybody I don't think anyone in this situation recognized Terrell Davis by face. So it's not one of those things where, hey, we're going to get the big star. Because Terrell Davis has been out of the league for over 20 years. And he was famous, but because his career was cut short because of injuries and such, and all that, I don't think he ever got the face time of fame. So I don't think it's one of those cases. I think this is one of those cases where you have a very sensitive employee, and they went and ran and said, "Oh my God, he hit me." And of course, the pilots had to report this, that, hey, we've had this incident, because that's a standard procedure, and then this happened. In the end, the person that holds the most blame for this is the flight attendant, because everything else sounds like the general procedure I have heard happen to anyone else who's been detained like that at the end of a flight. Maybe if he's cooperative, he doesn't need to have the handcuffs put on him at that time. These are FBI agents, U.S. Marshals. They operate just a little differently than your standard police. So, just saying. But it is, yeah. Tia says, "Oh my God, that's incredibly asinine." You are not wrong. That is very asinine. But I don't know. Not to get too socially active about this, but this is what happens when you have things like zero tolerance policies and, no touching. Oh my God, he touched me. He assaulted me. Please. A little bit thicker skin. Someone taps you back in the hand. If you've ever been in an airline, see, if you've ever flown, and you turn around and do this, you're cramped. These are not big seats. You can't exactly go whap without, I don't know, hitting three people and across the aisle. These aisles are I'm 6'1". These aisles I can reach across like this and put my hand on the next seat. All right. So if I turn around and whack somebody, actually hit them, I'm probably going to whack somebody in the seat across the road from me if they're behind me. All right. If he's flying from Denver to where was it? John Wayne Airport. I know where John Wayne Airport is. Santa Ana. He's probably in a CRJ. He's probably in a narrow body jet. He's not in a wide body. He's in a narrow body. That's like a 3-hour flight. He's in a little commuter plane. Tons of room. Like you can rear back and go hit somebody. You can barely reach back and go tap tap tap. And this is what this flight attendant does. Granted I wasn't there. I'm making assumptions, but still, think this is asinine is a great word for it. Thank you, Tia. Thank you, Tia. Now, one last thing I wanted to put out there, mainly because I came across this, and so the home run derbies tonight. Today is a big day. So today's the first day of the RNC. If you're a politics person, and also today is it's a day where the home run derby is, because tomorrow is the Major League Baseball All-Star game, and we all love the All-Star game. Yes, peak of summer, everything, right? Baseball, it's the American pastime. Anyway, so they played they had someone sing the national anthem. I don't know who it is. Hat tip to LJ on Twitter, Mad Hatter Commander. She's the one who I found this from. Oh my goodness. This national anthem is well, it's something you'll probably never forget. Or hopefully you will. Let's hear this.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming.
They're holding back laughter.
The bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
was that? What was that? Why was that? Hold on a second. All right. So the person who sang the anthem was Ingrid Andress. I've heard this name before. She's an American singer and songwriter. I don't know what songs she sings. I don't know what song she sings. Maybe I've heard it and don't know it. But obviously, she has never put out anything that has made me want to go, ooh, who sings that? And after that anthem, I don't want to find out what she sings because it can't possibly be any good without a lot of computerized processing. She's a studio girl for sure. I blame anything wrong with music on autotune. Didn't Jay-Z put out Death to Autotune, A Moment of Silence? And that was in like 2009. We still got problems with this. Tia says no ma'am, no ham, no spam. Steve pops in and says worst rendition of the anthem ever. Sounded like Dookie. Cancel her now. All right. Steve Lim, do not go overseas to Iraq and serve in the military and dodge bullets and IEDs to listen to that shit. Oh my God. Oh, chat. That was terrible. I mean, that hurt. There was points that it literally hurt. Like I got sunglasses on. I got a hat on. You can't see my eyebrows and eyes. And it's a good thing because you wouldn't have seen the pain I was feeling. Oh my God. I'd rather hear Roseanne Barr sing it again. Here's the crazy thing, all right? At least Roseanne was never assigned as a singer. She is a comedian and an actress, not a singer. That's what makes this crazy. Deluxe says, who had the really bad one a couple years ago or many years ago? Fergie. That's who you're thinking of, Deluxe. Fergie. And here's the thing, that hurt me because it's Fergie, man. She's Fergalicious. I used to have a thing for that chick, man. All right. She had some of the like dumbest songs out there. She had some good songs too. Did a good job singing with Black Eyed Peas. But that anthem hurt my soul when she did that. This hurt my soul. Steve says her singing freedoms are now revoked. That's the Dallas Cowboys and national anthems. Might be the 90s Cincinnati Bengals of national anthems. It was a team. It was a team who was perpetually bad for a decade. Not us. We've won divisions. But yeah. Deluxe says Roseanne with the hawk tool at the end, if I remember correctly. Yeah, you see, I think that when she did it, she intended it to be bad. I think her whole intention was to be funny and controversial and make people go, "Oh my God." What she did, I think, would have gone over better 10 years later. Have you all ever seen when they had Carl Lewis sing the national anthem? Have you all ever seen that? That one hurts. That one hurts. Have you ever seen Carl Lewis do the national anthem? Doug says he did. She did with the hawk too. Yeah, she spit on the ground afterwards. But Carl Lewis, greatest sprinter in the history of mankind, one of the greatest Olympians ever. Carl Lewis was somebody who I really just looked at as like the premier definition of the Olympic athlete. The man was all class. He was a straight competitor. I remember him competing in the long jump with I think he had a strained quadricep and it was taped up. Marcus just laughing said she was horrible. That was horrible. But Carl Lewis, man, did he I gotta play this one just for posterity's sake. Here we go.
Dirty Harry said in one of his movies that a man's got to know his limitations.
Carl
Lewis apparently didn't see the movie. If his rendition of the Star Spangled Banner prior to the Nets-Bulls game last night is any indication, as a public service,
This is Charlie Steiner, by the way, for you youngins out there. This man was OG Sports Center.
We present now only excerpts. Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
All right, are we all ready?
No.
Here we go. Oh, say, can you see? And the rockets, red flag. Uh-oh. I'll make up for it now. For the land of the free.
That was Sarge national anthem. Written by Francis Scott off key. Those were last night's lowlights. They were last night's highlights.
Oh my goodness. Listen, why did Lewis accept my question? Did he pick the person doing the first pitch? Even first pitch, it was a basketball game. Michael Jordan just ducked his head like, no. Yeah, I'll make up for it though. At least he knew. He knew he stung. That had to be that 2 minutes had to be longer than running the relay at the 4x100 at the Barcelona Olympics. Yeah, Tia says she remembers that. Tia, we lived through that one. Francis Scott off key was a good burn though. And that's Charlie Steiner for you. Guy, like I said, that was when Sports Center was Sports Center. It was appointment viewing. It was always something good about that. Nowadays, if it ain't Scott Van Pelt, don't really care. Like said, forgot it was a basketball game, just assume baseball. Yeah, all the bad anthems happen to baseball. No, but here's the funny thing: that Fergie one I was talking about, that was at the NBA All-Star game. He wants to know who told him to embarrass his family like that. It wasn't God. Oh my goodness, that one that killed me. Though when I saw that heard that national anthem tonight, I was like, what is going on? But so I gotta laugh because Steve Lim is posting on Twitter right now instead of hanging out in chat. So that Fergie one, that Fergie one was terrible. I might come back to that here in a second. Steve Lim is on Twitter, being funny. If I could learn how to produce better, I'd already have it up. So what happens when you work with one screen? Anyway, Steve points out this is a DMV anti-carjacking setup. Do you understand why? Throw a like on that one. Anyway, I used to have a truck just like this. 2 of them, actually. I've had 2 trucks that were just like this. Your accelerator, your brake, your clutch, because yes, your boy can drive a manual transmission, and your parking brake. No one these days knows that. I guarantee you, if they even know the clutch, they'll hit that parking brake. That's old school. That's how you stop your car from getting stolen. Deluxe says, I have one of those theft deterrent systems. It's great, isn't it? As soon as they do it, it stops. They don't know what's going on. You know what? Since we're talking about bad national anthems, yeah. Oh, Fergie, hold up. Don't you start yet. We're going to play the Fergie one. Tia says she can't drive them. She tried. But you tried. Tia, I believe you and I are of similar age. You're a Gen Xer or an elder millennial, an exennial, whatever you want to call it. You and I are a similar age. Unless you were learning how to drive a manual because you wanted to drive fast and be able to help stick shift. Yeah. These youngins don't know about this. So I'll take your recollection of a guy calling a Mustang GT a fake because of the third pedal. Oh, God. That hurts my brain. Anyway, one last bad national anthem. Because why not? It's Fergie. It's Fergie. This is up there.
Rosie, can you see?
Start off well.
By the dawn's early light.
Uh-oh.
What so proudly wave at the twilight's last gleaming.
Okay. We all know that only one person has ever pulled off trying to turn the national anthem into this slinky slow jam. And it was Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye pulled this off at the NBA All-Star game. I think it was 83 or 84. He did that. And I know I'm going to get content flag for all this shit. Oh, well. But anyway, this, she's trying to turn into this like lounge jazz, got the bass and the feathered drum tap and all that. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing, Fergie? What are you doing?
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight.
Here's the thing. Fergie can actually like sing decently, but she's overdoing it. Like, I don't know where this pronunciation is coming from. And then she's just trying to oversell it. And that's actually a problem I have with a lot of singers. And I've had this for a while. Everybody tries to oversing shit. There's been a late wave of people. I'm not going to play all of it because it just gets worse from there. There's been a late wave of singers who are trying to like tone it down a little bit. Like that Ingrid Andress chick, the way she sang that national anthem, she was not trying to oversing it. She just couldn't sing. And it's not an easy song to sing. I get that. All right. I know enough music theory to know that is not an easy song to sing. That's why you should keep it simple, keep it in your range. And if you can't hit the ranges that the song requires you to do on a basic level, don't agree to sing the song. Or work with someone to make that arrangement work for you. That was Fergie was trying to have her Marvin Gaye moment. That didn't work. Carl Lewis was trying to have a moment. That didn't work. Roseanne Barr was trying to have a comedic moment. That didn't work. Ingrid Andress was trying to have, well, I don't even know what kind of moment. I think she's just trying to collect a check. It is what it is. Deluxe says Whitney, Marvin, Hendrix, Santana, and Caleb Bob from the Capitals games. Yeah. But if you listen to Whitney's version of the national anthem, she has such a powerful voice, and it is a song that, if you want to do it properly, you do have to have a strong voice for it, right? You have to be able to project it because it's a song that really comes from here, right? Not here, it comes from. Whitney had the vocal chops to pull it off. But if you listen to it, it doesn't really deviate from the song. They're not trying to reinvent the wheel. She just went out there, said, here's how this song's sung, and I'm going to do it better than anyone. And many people could say that. Whitney Houston, the best rendition. Heavenly, yeah. I will say this. I was a fan of Lady Gaga's rendition. I think she had not as good as Whitney's. No one touches Whitney's. But that one really did, it's like, that's how you're supposed to sing this song. All right? You can't, it's not written that you can do a lot of deviation before it starts to sound like absolute crap. If you, like I said, don't oversing it. It's not a song that lends itself to great vocal theatrics. I think that when people put too many of the variations and the theatrics and the histrionics, it makes it just doesn't sound right. Deluxe said Gaga was great without trying to beat Whitney. No, she was just trying to deliver the best version she could. I don't know. National anthem is a weird thing. I actually have a hot take on the national anthem. I have long believed America the Beautiful should be our national anthem, not Star Spangled Banner. Only because of the thing, I think it's something about a war song being your national anthem. Just hits at me a little odd, believe it or not. But I've always thought that America the Beautiful just kind of works well. It's talks about the beauty of our country. I think a song of national pride that talks about your country being beautiful, America the Beautiful, Purple Mountain Majesties, Fruited Plain, Amber Waves of Grain. I think that's a little bit better. Anyway, Tia says Gaga was straight. It was a string of bad singing back then for some odd apparent reason because everybody wants to oversing it. Deluxe says big fan of Caleb Green, Bob McDonald from Caps games, classic renditions every time. Yeah, Deluxe said that he thought about Gaga. She was good. Yeah. I mean, everybody, Whitney gets number one. Whitney's just powerful, right? And you gotta think, we were at war when she sang that song. So that's why it kind of hits. Like, mood, everything was right. Kayla Green, Bob McDonald, their renditions were straight down the middle, just strong performances of that song. But yeah, I it's fine. We've turned national anthems into 20 minutes of content. You know, that's how this goes. But I could talk about stuff like this all night. But yeah, I think that Gaga did a great job. I've heard others. It's like, I think too many people try to inject a pop R&B sound into it. Like, they want to give you all the soulful ups and downs and the vocal techniques and histrionics and all that. It doesn't fit that song. No one's ever heard a version where they elongate the song, they add in ups and downs that don't exist, and this is the thing. Like I said, I've heard Christina Aguilera do it, I've heard Beyonce do it, and it's just like, it doesn't work. And I'm not one of those people that's like, just sing the damn song the way it's supposed to be sung. No, I don't say that, some traditionalist bent. It's a song that is not built to be sung too far outside the bounds of the music. It's just not structured that way. It doesn't sound good. Whitney pulled it off because Whitney's got, one of the most tremendous voices in the history of music. Right? Gaga has a tremendous, musical sense. Deluxe says, did Aretha ever do it? No. Aretha did America the Beautiful for 2 WrestleManias. Believe it or not. Her first rendition, much better than her second. Second one, she did the oversinging. First one, she was Aretha as Aretha. Second one, age kind of caught up to her. Tia says, yes. I don't know about what we're referring to. Yes, she did. When did Aretha do it? When did Aretha do it? Oh, let's see here. Aretha Franklin, National Anthem. Oh my God, it was Super Bowl 40. Holy crap. And Game 1 of the 93 World Series. Oops. Didn't remember that. Well, you know what, though? Her rendition was at a Super Bowl, and none of us thought of it as being an all-time great. Aretha in her older years, I didn't particularly care for her voice. And I think she always tried to rely on power because the tone wasn't there. Because you get older and your vocal cords aren't what they used to be, especially when you spend your entire career singing, right? But she still had the vocal power. But I think that she lost some of the tone, some of the melody. If you listen to her WrestleMania 3, Do America the Beautiful, it is fantastic. Fantastic. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. WWE will probably hit me for that. There we go. By the way, you understand this what I'm about to play for you is a watershed moment in the history of wrestling. Vince McMahon had to get Aretha Franklin because this was held in Detroit at Silverdome, and allegedly 93,000 people there. That number is disputed. Some say it was only 78,000. But it says, agree, she might have had the range by the time she did. No, she relied a lot on just pure power as she got older. But this is 1987. I'm about to show you. I can't believe I'm actually playing more clips of national anthems and such than anything else tonight. But you know what? That's the vibe we are on. We're going to close on a good one here.
And now, here to sing America the Beautiful.
A young Vince McMahon in a smoking jacket. We are certainly in the mid 80s.
Miss Aretha Franklin.
Just so you know, this is a Freeway of Love, Aretha Franklin. She's still cranking out hits. You see how this song is a lot easier to kind of make your own as opposed to our national anthem. I'm already going to get copyright strike enough, so just trying to avoid. I'm going to get hit with content warnings. I don't want to get a full copyright strike, but just keep playing stuff. But anyway, you get the point. It's an easier song. Ray Charles did the same thing with America the Beautiful. It's an easier song to make your own. It still sounds pleasant to the ear. National Anthem's a hard song to sing. It's an even harder song to individualize. So, yeah, Marcus Elam says Aretha Franklin tore down the house. Yeah, she did. That was one of the biggest events in wrestling history. That was Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant. You want to age yourself. If you remember that, when Hulk Hogan body slammed Andre. It was such a huge event. That's why, they said Vince walked into the Silverdome and he says, I will have WrestleMania here. He wanted to have that giant stadium event that no one had, like that, and put it on every pay-per-view. And how are you going to kick this off? You get Aretha Franklin. You're in Detroit. She's still making hits at this time, and she's at legend status. So he says, I remember that match. I lost my mind. We all did. Despite what they said at the time, it was not the first time Andre had been body slammed. It was the first time he had been body slammed at that weight. Because he was well over 500 pounds at that point. Look, so if you're Andre's back was so bad he couldn't help Hogan with the slam, he does. If you watch it, you can see that he does. Because he puts the hand down he puts the hand down on Hogan's knee so Hogan can steady him before he puts him down. Now, granted, that body slam was barely a body slam. It was almost a hip toss. But it was enough to call it a body slam. But you can see Andre's hand goes down, braces it on Hogan's knee so Hogan can steady him to put him down. Andre's back was terrible at that point. Andre really should not have been wrestling by that point. He had medical science now allowed giantitis to be or gigantism to be managed. Like Big Show can do it, right? If you see him, he has slimmed down a lot. To the point that a couple of years ago he had developed abs. Can you imagine that? Big Show with abs. Deluxe says Chris Stapleton. Yeah, Chris Stapleton. When was that? Like 2 years ago? He did National Anthem. Did a good job with that. I think Chris Stapleton sometimes does lean a little bit into over-singing stuff, but I do like Chris Stapleton. I saw him last summer. Was one of the opening acts for George Strait of all people. Took my son down there. My son is a massive music guy, bigger than I am. As big a music guy as I am. His is more country and rock. Whereas mine goes rock to R&B and hip hop. Took him down to go see a legend. And you got to see Chris Stapleton too. Not often that you can go to a show. Chris Stapleton's there and he's an opening act. Deluxe says the Andre stories are amazing. Have gone down that rabbit hole, buddy. I am a lifelong wrestling fan. I'm a giant mark. All right. To the point that the guys, okay, if y'all are fans of this podcast, you know that we were on the Bucketeers podcast, right? Talking to the guys from Tampa Bay, Tampa Tones and all of them. They're massive wrestling fans. I go back and forth with them about Joe Hendry all the time, all right? 99% of people in the world don't know who Joe Hendry is, but if you say his name, he appears. Because I believe in Joe Hendry. But anyway, you don't know what I'm talking about, look it up. It's some of the funniest stuff. He's a wrestler, but he does his own music, right? He's a singer. He used to create individual songs for the guys he was facing. He did a version of Bohemian Rhapsody mocking one of his opponents. He did another one where he did a version of Adele's Hello mocking another opponent. Like, I think that's a great gimmick, especially when you can pull it off. So anyway, don't know if you like wrestling at all and you have not picked up on Joe Hendry, you should. If you say his name, he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. Anyway, that's a reference that maybe one person's watching will get. Marcus Edelin says, I like AEW a little better than SmackDown and Raw. I do too. I'm an AEW guy. But what WWE's doing is that they're not actually working with TNA. They've brought in Ethan Page, who was on AEW, went to TNA, and he is actually still contractually signed to TNA. He is the NXT champion right now. They had Jordan Grace, who I think is the next great female wrestler. I've been saying that for years. But now that she went from being Thick Mama Pump to just the juggernaut, this woman is absolutely jacked to the gills. She competed on NXT for the women's title. They actually had Joe Hendry showed up in a battle royal at NXT. So I think that AEW opened the forbidden door, but now WWE has opened up their own. I think right now is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan because you have two major organizations that have billion-dollar backings and both put out an excellent product. So I think that if you have not watched wrestling, now is a good time to get into it. You'll find something you like, whether you're an old school guy, if you're new school, if you just like the idea of real life comic book characters coming to life and fighting on screen. That's basically what wrestling is. It's a comic book brought to life. You do these, near superhuman stunts, very physical, and some, half cheesy, half good writing, depending upon what you watch. Deluxe says, Andre passed out on a hotel lobby couch. They could do nothing. Just stories of what he ate, drank crazy. Oh, yeah. Hold on. Actually, since I brought up this guy earlier, have you ever seen this picture? Let me see if I can. There we go. This is, since I brought up Joe Theismann, if you've not seen this picture, you should. Yeah, that's Andre the Giant holding our franchise quarterback with one arm like a baby. That is Andre the Giant holding Joe Theismann up. Joe Theismann was an NFL quarterback. He was 6'2", about 210, which is a good-sized athletic human being. And Andre's holding him like a baby. Andre got a full head of hair back then, too. Anyway, that's, to me, that and the picture of Andre holding the beer can, and it's smaller than his hand. Two of the most amazing pictures I've ever seen. Two of the most amazing pictures I've ever seen. But I Deluxe says, let that pick hold. I'm holding a beer can. Hold on. Let me pull that one up too. For those who have not seen, Andre the Giant holding a beer. This is a Molson, by the way, he's holding. Let's take a look at this one. I gotta pull it up, chat. There you go. That's Andre the Giant. So that's a normal sized glass of beer in one person's hand. Look at their hand. That's a wrestler. So that's a big dude. Then you got Andre on the other side. It's Molson. It's Molson Canadian. I can tell, but I know that one. Deluxe one to know. Trying to remember the brand. It's Molson Canadian. Yeah, and that's a 12-ounce can, by the way. It's the old pull tabs with a tab. You know, this is what y'all don't know. Trying to sell me something. If you can't tell, remember the old beer cans where you pulled the tab and the tab came completely off? Most of y'all, your daddies drank that. Your mamas drank that, right? I wasn't old enough. By the time I did, they had the tabs that stayed on. They used to be the pull tabs came right off. Became a fashion trend. People used to take those tabs and make vests out of them. People think they're crazy now. Kids used to wear beer tab vests. But anyway, pull tabs, it came right off. See, it just had an open hole at the top of the can. That's what he was holding. It's an old Molson. It's holding it like that, and the can fit. It's a 12-ounce can of beer, fit inside his palm. All right. I wish I here. This is burning. This is a Dr. Pepper can. Right? You see how big, I mean, I got it crunched and all, but you see how big that is in my hand? And I have a big mitt, by the way. I have a big mitt. Because I have a big head and I got a big hand. But it's funny because I don't have long fingers. I just have a big meaty palm. Right? I can just about palm a basketball. I'm 6'1". That tells you anything. All right, I can hold basketball out like this. I can't do like that, but I can do it like this. All right, I can hold basketball like this, palm it. And that's how big that can is in my hand. It would be shrunken down like that inside of his. That's a huge myth. Like, that's a dude who could pick you up by your face. You know, you gotta be amazed. You see these people of superhuman size, superhuman strength, and Andre the Giant was insanely strong. Dude, that's the thing. That is what's most amazing about that is that like his strength was unmatched. Laughing. I don't know if she's laughing at the side of my hand or what, but yeah, I got a big mitt. Like, I didn't know I had a sizable hand until dude who's about my size went and fist bumped me, and like his fist came to right about there, right? He couldn't. I had a whole small knuckle past him, and he's like, Jesus, look at the size of those meat cleavers. They call my hands meat cleavers. I think he meant meat tenderizers. But nonetheless, yeah, I do have. I got big forearm, big wrist, big palm. Anyway, take from that what you will. I'll get myself in trouble. Anyway, I'm being dumb tonight, chat. Anyway, yeah, that on that note, I think it's time to sign off on this. We've gone well past when I thought we were going to. T is at least getting the joke. Anyway, I think on that note, we're going to close out tonight's Philstream. We wanted to give you a little content. Steve's out on vacation at the beach. Couldn't make it tonight. He will be here Thursday. Deb taking the night off. Enjoying married life. And yeah, so you all have a wonderful evening. And I'm going to use the old Steve way of signing off by saying, as always, I'm buying time till I get to the outro. There it is. As always, peace, hail, we out. I totally suck at production, by the way. Anyway, we out.